Hi, and welcome to our tutorial on Arduino Basics. In this video, we're going to be showing you different things about the Arduino Uno. This is the one that I'm going to be using mostly in my tutorials, and we'll teach you the different parts on this. After we're done looking at the parts, we will be moving on to make our first program. We're going to write to a serial monitor. We're going to do a for loop and an if or else statement. And hopefully this lesson will get you going, get you started on your Arduino projects. Alright, the board. As you can see, we have different inputs here. We have digital pins, we have analogs, we have our power pins. Now up here are digital pins. These will be used for digital input or output, and by digital it's either going to be off or on, high or low value. Now there are some of these pins that have a little squiggly line before the number, and these are pulse width modulation pins, and these can act like an analog pin, and they can take a variable value from a sensor. So instead of being digital on or off, it can have a value of, I think it's 0 to 1023. And here at pin 0 and pin 1, these are used to communicate either with a computer or another device. We'll be using these later on in projects. This is 2 is a digital pin, would be on or off. 3 is the pulse modulation pin, be a value. Here we have the ground. Now we'll take a look at the analog in. Now the analog in, you'll be receiving values from sensors, and they will be analog, they'll be numbers. I believe these go from 0 to 1023. And if you run into digital pins, cool thing about this is you can program your analog pins to be digital general purpose in and out pins, so you can have more digital pins if needed. Now we're going to take a look at the power section here. VIN, I don't use this right now in any projects that I've done, but this is a different voltage out for your projects. And then we have 2 ground slots here. Next one up is 5 volts. This will be our 5-volt line to power our projects. And here we have a 3.3 volt, so you can use either one, 3.3, 5. Some components that I've played with use 3.3 volts, some use 5. And we have a reset switch up here, a pin that we can use. We also have a reset button up here. Push that and it resets the Arduino back to start everything right from the beginning. This little box right beside it is where we connect our USB cable, connect that up to our computer to upload our program or to use the serial monitor. Here we have power in. I just use the USB cable to power my Arduino most of the time. Want to build a car or something, then I'll use this here to power. Let's see. Okay. Now that we talked about the Arduino, let's go and hook it up to the computer. You're just going to plug in your USB cable right into the computer. You'll see a couple lights come on. And now we're ready to start our first program. I'll open up the Arduino interface. Okay, I have hooked up a webcam now to show you the Arduino as we do this. Not much use for the webcam and the picture of the Arduino right now, but I'll show you that when it communicates and we upload our sketches, these lights will start flashing to know that there's communication going on there. Alright, now we're going to start our first sketch, and this will be our program to what we're going to do is we're going to send a message and write to the serial monitor. And by doing this, we're going to write hello world, send it across the serial cable, and it will come up here on our computer screen. So first thing that we need, if you have the new Arduino IDE application here, it will already put in the functions that are needed for every sketch to work, and I've got an older one here, so I have to write it in myself. Void setup, and void loop. Now, every Arduino sketch is going to need both of these, whether there's anything in them or not. They're needed. I'll show you here. We'll take out the void loop, and we'll try to upload this to our Arduino, and we should get an error here. Let's see. It's compiling the sketch. And it should take a little bit, but it's gonna come back an error out, say that we're missing in function main, and right down here, unidentified reference to loop. There is no loop. So if we do this, now we'll try and compile and upload it again, and you'll see that it will work. And when it starts uploading, you'll see some lights flash in here on the board when it's communicating to it. Here we go, flash. Yep. Now it's been all uploaded, and that's as easy as it is to upload our programs or our sketches. Now right now we're going to write to the serial monitor through the serial port, and we're going to need to open up communications with the serial port. So we write serial begin, and I'm going to go 9600 baud rate. This is the rate of communication between these two. And now we'll write our message to our serial monitor. So here we're going to write serial dot print, and we'll write our message hello world. And we'll close the parentheses, and our lines need to have a semicolon after them. Now this is going to print over and over and over continuously. When our program first starts, it executes the setup first. Anything that you want to set, like your pin modes, write to your pins, high or low, your pins input or output, any of that information needs to go in here. And after the setup, it will go down and it will do the loop continuously forever. And so here we're going to upload just a print hello world to the serial monitor. So here we're going to upload it, and as soon as it's done compiling and uploading, I'm going to open up the serial monitor and we'll see what's happening. Uploading. Okay. And here you go. Hello world. Going across the screen. Across. And it's going really, really fast. You can barely see it. So what we're going to do, serial print prints everything to one line, and it keeps going. One line, it keeps going right after another. Now if we put in ln, this tells the program that we're going to print hello world, and then that's going to be the end of the line. It's almost like a carriage return, or a next line. And now you'll see it'll print down instead of across, one right after another. So let's see here. We'll compile, upload. As soon as this is uploaded, we will see a different view. Okay, serial monitor. Hello world. Now it's going down, and it's going so fast you can barely see these bottom bottom words. What you can do to add a little time into your program, if you need to see what's going on, you can do a delay. We're going to delay 1,000 would be 1 second. We're going to go half a second, and we need our semicolon at the end. Now let's upload this and see what it does. Now we should have a pause of a half a second before it prints the next line. That's what should happen. Let's see if it happens. Uploading. Here we go. Hello world. Much better. We can read this stuff now. And that will just keep going and going. Now, that was our first program, writing to the serial monitor. Next, I will take you through doing a for loop and if and else statements. Now we're going to talk about the for loop. For loop will run for a certain amount of specified times. I'll show you with the integer. You can specify how many times it's going to run over and over, and then after them times are over, it will move on to the rest of the code. But the for statement, we're going to need serial connection, so we're going to serial begin, and we're going to go 9600 semicolon at the end of the line. Now I'm going to want the program to wait before it starts. I need to get my time to have my serial monitor up on the screen, so we're going to wait for 3 seconds. We do that by delay 3000. Now 1 second delay is 1000. So 3000 would be 3 seconds delay. Now we're going to go down to our void loop, and we're going to do our for statement. So for x, I'm going to go for int, we're making an integer, x equals 0, semicolon. Okay, now in the for statement, we're initiating a variable x equal to 0. And that's our starting point. Now we need a condition. We're going to say x has to be less than 10. So if x is over 10, we're not going to run our for loop. We're going to skip right over it and run the rest of the code. If it's under 10, then we're going to run what's inside of our for brackets. Okay, now the last thing we're going to need is an increment. So x plus plus. Every time that this runs, hits the end and comes back up to run again, it's going to increase x by 1. So the first time it runs, x will be 0. Next time it loops up, it will be 1, and it will keep going, 2, 3, keep going until this condition is no longer met. And then it will skip the for loop and go down and do the rest of your code. Alright, let's try that. So we're going to say x equals, okay, serial print. And we're going to want it to print 1 line every time that we print. So we're going to do serial print, and we're just going to print the value of x. Alright, and now we're going to delay, and we're going to wait a half a second. So 500, half a second. Now it's going to print up to 10, under 10. And now let's go down outside of the for loop, because here's the beginning of our for loop, and if you'll see, we've got a box around the end bracket. So everything inside here is inside the for loop. Now outside the for loop, we're going to do serial print ln x is not less than 10. And then we're going to do a big delay to show that other code might have been written down there, but we're going to delay this for another 3 seconds, and then it will start the program all over again. Now you'll see that this for loop is going to run 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 all the way up to 9, and once it hits 10 it's not going to execute because 10 is equal to 10. Alright, now let's upload this and see what we have. Compiling the sketch. Alright, open the monitor. Now here we go, it should start any second. As you see, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then x is not less than 10. And then it's going to wait 3 seconds, and the whole loop is going to start over again. Alright, next we're going to look at the if statement. So inside our for loop is a great place for an if statement. If this happens, or if x is less than this value, then we can do this, or if x is over this value, we can do that. Okay, so let's say that if, and then inside these brackets right here, these parentheses, there has to be a condition, and if that condition is met inside those brackets, then we're going to do what is inside of these squirrely brackets. So if x is greater than 7, then I want to do a serial print ln, say x is greater than 7. We will print out that x is greater than 7. Now, let's see how this works. So it's only if x is greater than 7. So let's upload and see what this does. This should add an extra line at 8, 9, 8 and 9, yeah? Okay, open the serial monitor. Here we go through our for loop. Oh, it did it. X is greater than 7. X is greater than 7. And it doesn't do it for 7. It does it for 8 and 9. Because x 7 equals 7 wouldn't work here. Has to be greater than. Okay, now we're going to do an else. And that goes right along with our if. See, here's our if, everything inside our if. Start of it, here's the end of it. Now we're going to go space else, E-L-S-E, and then we're going to put 2 more squiggly brackets there. And we're going to do a serial print, ln, and we're going to do x is less than 7. And, whoops, and semicolon. So now, when this goes through, you're going to see it's going to come down here. Let's say x is 0. So we're going to come in here. If x is less than 7, or if x is greater than 7, I mean, then we're going to do this. Else, if x is not greater than 7, we're going to do this. So x is 0 right now. We're going to come down here, x greater than 7, no, else we're going to do serial print x is less than 7. And that's going to happen for 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because we're looking at greater than 7 or less than 7. Let's see if this works with what we're thinking. As you can see, we're going to be uploading here in a minute. You can watch the flashing going on. Here we go. Serial monitor. 2 more seconds. See, we're getting them less than 7, less than 7. Now up here, we're getting a greater than 7. Seven. Yep. There we go. X is less than 7. Alright, that's it for this. Now you can take these ifs and you can do a lot of other things with them. We'll be exploring other stuff, but right now we're just checking out the serial monitor and how we can send signals back to be monitored as to what's going on in your program, to give data back and forth. Alright, so we have a for loop and if statements, else statements. You'll be needing these in a lot of your programming, probably just about everything. You're going to do one of these, and hopefully this will help you get started. Practice this, do different things with it, and that's it. Have a good day. Thanks.